Oh boy, do I have a surprise today. A video that I've wanted to do for a long time because it's for something I've wanted for a long time. Something I've wanted to have again for a long time. Longer than this T-Rex over here or this Raptor, both of which I actually had back in 1997 when The Lost World was out. I was just a little kid in my room playing with all my favorite, my Lost World, my Star Wars, my Power Rangers. I had pretty much all the toys every kid in the 90s loved. Um, but I'm sidetracking. About that Utah Raptor, I don't know if I said this in, the video where I didn't... That's one for the outtake reel, but, I don't know if I didn't know this Utah Raptor even existed. Neither the 1994 Jurassic Park Series 2 version that originally came out, or this version for The Lost World. I had no idea it existed. Because it was an exclusive set, to reiterate. I took the Dino Tracker out. I still have them, don't worry though. In fact, let me... There he is. I added this little gun here from actually a very new Jurassic Park toy. But, yeah. Yeah. I don't even think there was a Walmart around where I live back then, and that's where the Utah Raptor was exclusive to. Circles. Sorry about that. Again, sorry. You might want to skip some parts like that. But anyway, yeah, I don't think there was a Walmart where I lived when this Utah Raptor was released. So I never knew it existed. And I couldn't have gotten the first version because I was born maybe a week after Jurassic Park opened. And what I have for today's unboxing is very important to me for, well, some very similar reasons to... Let me just open it and, well, you'll understand. Okay, so, please enjoy this nice image while I get this out. I'm going to try and be as quick as possible. Ooh, this tape is coming off really nice, really quickly. If only I didn't need both hands. I probably would have just done this all on camera. Now. The music you're hearing, by the way, is from a PlayStation 1 game made for The Lost World. If I know how to... forget it. Forget that. Look at that. What you're seeing is the other second of 3 exclusive sets made for The Lost World Jurassic Park. And this one would be... I would have loved this one as a kid because I technically had this young T-Rex. Now, I didn't have this exact figure or this set. What I had was the brown version of this figure that was released in 1993 with the first wave of the original Jurassic Park toys. So, and this is, by the way, this isn't, an unboxing of a mint in package figure. The seller said they just held onto the box since they were, I think, my age, actually. Or maybe slightly older. They held onto the box after they got it for all these years, and they used it to keep the in. Did they ever open it on this set? Yeah. I've looked up some pictures, and if this was still in the box, everything you see here would have been on like a background, a yellow card behind a bubble, like the figure. Oh, excuse me. I might think I'll have to close the door for that. I would just edit this audio in, but I'm filming this off my phone in my kitchen. So, yeah, and I'm uploading it right from my phone, too. Hopefully I'm actually hoping my battery doesn't die in the middle of this. So, yes. The original version of this guy right here, this young T-Rex. Now, he's called a young T-Rex because if you look at the one in the back, it's supposed to be a juvenile, but not nearly an infant or a hatchling when compared to, say, yeah, the one over there. That one is... The toy, although it was made by Toy Biz, I think Kenner may have specified to them, this is how big our products are. We need you to stay in scale with this, so there's no clashing with how big something is. But getting back on track, I'm so sorry if I'm going off, but it's just this moment means a lot to me. So the original T-Rex, this color was brown, with sort of darker spots on top, as opposed to this jungle green kind of. It looks kind of like a darker version of the bull T-Rex, maybe. In fact, this actually reminds me of that T-Rex in Jurassic Park 3. And that predates that by a couple of years, so that's interesting. But yeah. The first wave of Jurassic Park toys just was out alongside with the movie just a few months before I was even born. A week or so before I was even born. But I still remember having the original brown version of this toy T-Rex. And I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think what happened was I had a relative, maybe my grandma, maybe my uncle, because they really fussed over me when I was little. My parents say that they spoiled me way too much, and it's why a lot of I think one of them probably bought me the brown T-Rex either as a welcoming gift when I came home from the hospital, or more likely it was a gift for my first birthday, because it didn't come with these small parts here. It was just this, so they probably figure it would have. There's no parts or anything too small, except maybe this piece right here comes off. But yeah, I'll get to that. So yeah, I've had a T-Rex like this as long as I can remember. I don't know what happened to it, because I just don't know what happened to it. They just kept disappearing over the years. But, as long as I can remember, ever since I lost that first brown T-Rex, I've just really wanted one back. More than maybe any other Jurassic Park toy, except maybe the Mobile Command Center, the trailer playset. That's second only to, this guy right here. Or at least, the original, the brown version. So, I'm okay. I'm okay. And not to get sappy or nothing, so enough with the sappiness. So a little history on what's what. So as I've said, this original version came out in 93 and it was brown. It was repainted once 6 months later in 94, June to January or so, 6 months later, definitely in 1994, with, imagine this greenish color up here, but it's more yellow on the underside, almost like a black and yellow or neonish green color. That's a very rare figure, arguably more so than this one. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to show that one off. And it was actually repainted one more time after this for a line called Jurassic Park Dinosaurs. And I believe that version used a much harder plastic because it was put out by Hasbro, not Kenner, the original toy company. So, as was typical with a lot of Kenner products, these larger to medium-sized dinosaurs had a nearly solid rubber. They were made of all rubber, with maybe some hard parts on plastic inside to help them stand. And they market it as realistic dino skin. It doesn't say it on this packaging for the T-Rex, but yeah, that's what they called it. And the Utah Raptor had a very similar, like I said before, it had similar skin. Although the Lost World version uses harder plastic and less rubber parts because it removed the electronics for some reason, and it was slightly remolded. Now this guy over here is a repaint of the Series 2 line Dino Trackers, much like, this is Jaws Jackson. This guy was called Harpoon Harrison. And for some reason, the weapon he has, this bazooka here, let me show you real quick how it fits. Even though there doesn't look like there's any way for them to hold it, there actually is. The, goes over the shoulder, and there's a little flap here that you could fit the hand in. And it pretty much, it kinda holds it once it... Oh, oops. For some reason, this weapon they have was actually the one given to Robert Muldoon for Series 1 and 2, I believe, in the Jurassic Park line. I think it might be because the Harpoon Harrison, his actual weapon, was already reused for a different figure in the Lost World toy line, so they opted to give him this one. Plus these exclusive sets, they mixed and matched a bunch of stuff from various previous existing lines. So technically speaking, I already have 2 of the Dino Trackers here, but here they've just been redesigned to basically be generic hunters, I guess. Basically members of the engine team that didn't have names. Any number of those guys who got eaten by those raptors in the long grass, who wasn't named Dieter, Ludlow, Carter, or Roland or Ajay. Yeah, those guys all had names. And much like the Utah Raptor, it came with very similar capture gear. And since it's slightly smaller, but it's very similar, if not just a shrunk down version of the same mold. So let's just, we have a muzzle, we have ankle cuffs. As you can tell, it's definitely smaller than the ones for the Utah Raptor, but it's otherwise almost the exact same mold. So, let's get those on. And lastly, we have a collar. And there we go. Actually, the ankle cuffs kind of make it easier to stand this guy. Oh my god, you have no idea just how long I've wanted to hold this guy. It may not be the original one I had, but I just wanted to just hold him in my hands. I can just feel the history, like just all coming back to me. I'm sorry for the dead air, but so I meant to grab this earlier, but the closest I can say to what we have today, I'm not going to bring out too many modern maybe a couple modern figures. This is almost strictly a blast to the past, but we have this is the modern day Rexy, which, come to think of it, I think might have actually taken some inspiration from this guy. Not just in size, even though this is meant to be in scale with smaller figures. It's slightly bigger, has a very similar design. Plus, this Rex is softer material, so if you squeeze it like this, the idea is it's opening its mouth because it doesn't have any other action features to it. So, yeah. But a similar feature is... Hey, what's up? Nothing. I'm finally free. Yeah, cool. Welcome home. Yeah, it's not but it's almost a very similar gimmick, just that this is hard plastic, this one is a lot more rubbery. And for one more comparison, the batteries on this remote Rex died out, so you won't hear the signature Jurassic Park roar. But, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this in the original video, but, 2 things. One, almost every JP Rex has something going on with the tails, where they're bent because of how they're always put in the packaging. The boxes were way too small. It's actually probably the reason why nowadays the tails are detached and separated from the body, and you pop them in for a one-time assembly yourself. For some of the other T-Rexes, this could be straightened out, because I think the Bull T-Rex and Thrasher T-Rex actually have wires in their tails, which can help with getting this straightened out, but yeah, in some cases it's a permanent thing that's not gonna you can't completely undo, but it doesn't bother me too much. It's just a minor detail. They couldn't have known any better. Another thing is, I don't have it for comparison, but this is probably, a mold copy / meant to be the female T-Rex from the Lost World. The coloring is a lot closer to that one. And it looks very similar in height to the female T-Rex, or the Thrasher T-Rex as they called it. Again, if I had it for a side-by-side, I'd say they're about the same size. There was some lag there. I didn't know if it was me or anything, but if it shows up, sorry. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave everyone with that. This image of past, present, who knows what the future holds. But these creatures require our absence to survive, our help. And if we can step aside and trust in nature, life will find a way.